So I want to know about this guy. Whoop.
This is Max
Hey,
Pickle. And
There's Max.
and he's a wire-haired dachshund. And he just turned 9 last week.
He's a dachs.
Yep, he's a standard dachshund.
He's a wise old
Big
man.
boned. Yeah, he's 9.
Big boned.
Yeah.
He's a lowrider.
Oh, Max. I was big boned in junior high, buddy. I get it.
That's a different kind of dog, Ben. They call that a husky.
Oh, ouch.
What do you call a dog that was kind of perpetually in the friend zone but didn't know it?
Oh.
I have no idea.
That sounds like a setup for a joke. I'm sincerely asking. I don't know the answer to that.
Is this just like a little dip into Ben Steinbauer's Freaks and Geeks, upbringing?
I somehow don't think that was your high school experience, but
Well, thank you. Sadly, it was. I was
don't
the guy.
believe that.
Well, I was like, I played football, so I was a little husky. And then
He was a lineman.
I was
don't
a
know what that
lineman.
means.
Well, that means like we're the big guys who block the good people from tackling the good-looking guys. So I was the one who would like
Okay.
listen to the girls' bad poetry and their complaints about their mom or
you
whatever.
know, that sets you up for later in life to score, though.
That's right. You didn't want to peak too early.
Yeah,
Ben.
exactly.
Well,
I think
I didn't
think
have
it
that
all
problem
worked out
for sure.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
guys, we should do this more often.
continues-
We're off to a great start.
It continues to work out.
Whoa, Max.
I won't get into what I was like in high school because that'll take the whole episode for me to
about that.
deconstruct. No, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. And
Are you in therapy about that now?
I mean, that's kind of what this has become already. Let's start the clock. 50 minutes. Here we go.
I'm really excited now.
No. You know what I was in high school was I was a kid who snuck into concerts and who convinced bands to let me make music videos of them by lying and saying I was a college film student. Tripping Daisy and Hagfish.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
That
You
is
did that
amazing.
With Tripping
Those are
Daisy.
my. I did not like Tripping Daisy. I wasn't that
How
successful.
old were you when you did that?
16, I guess 16, 17.
What?
He sort of did like a Judd Apatow where he would
That's
contact
incredible.
these bands' managers and make up a
No.
I would get.
publication that he wrote for.
We made phony
Exists.
press. True.
Wait, how do you know his name is Max? How did he know that?
I'm pretty sure he just yelled penis.
I think he said penis.
Pretty sure that was penis.
Really?
That also represents my high school experience right there.
I think he was talking to Keith.
Yelling penis at random cameras.
That's incredible.
We're sort of asking for
They
it.
must
Yeah.
have thought that I was like, how did you know his name?
I mean, tell you what, I mean, geometrically, there's a.
It's apropos.
You have to use the part where that guy screamed penis.
Oh, that's a.
That's going to be the beginning.
That might be the episode title.
I think it should just be penis! Exclamation point with Margaret Brown.
I feel like there's reasons to
I
reconsider.
think you might get canceled. And it might be me who's
Yeah, I was gonna
canceling
say.
That by our
Please
guest.
don't.
Who is our guest today? Where are we at? What is
Right.
going on? That is what we're asking.
Well, we should find some shade to walk in so my dog doesn't like stop walking and like ruin the episode.
Yes, we're gonna go
Yeah.
up here and then
Yeah.
drop down on the trail. Is that?
Right now he's peppy, you know, it's all good, right? It's all fun right now.
Yeah, he's got a little pep in his step for
Yeah.
sure.
Finding Shade
Yeah.
with Margaret Brown.
Yeah.
On your left.
You're listening to Doc Walks with Ben and Keith.
We're here in late July, the probably worst time to be
Yeah.
walking
Yeah, it really
outdoors
is bad,
in Austin,
guys.
Texas. So you're welcome,
Yeah.
Margaret.
Yeah.
You are deep in publicity mode on episode 5 of
Yes. Yogurt
your
shop.
series Yogurt Shop.
Yeah.
I have listened to podcasts of you talking about it. I know
God.
from talking to your publicist that you're all over the place talking about it. Rather than talk about Yogurt Shop right now, let's talk about you.
Let's talk about high school.
How are you doing right now? Like, what is it
great.
like to be on like this publicity tour for what is a really intense
That part's
project?
hard.
Yeah.
That part's like, well, it's funny, like when I started doing the publicity for it, so it was the first thing like after episode 5 came out. And I, at first, like, I did y'all's podcast because I know you, but I was doing like, I don't want to do true crime podcasts. Like they bummed me out when I started listening to them, when I started making Yogurt Shop Murders. Like, I I felt like they were really like mean to the families, like raise a toast to murder, and I just thought it was like fucking a cheap shot, and it pissed me off.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm not gonna listen to any of this. Like, so I was like, I'm not gonna do any podcasts. Like, and then when 5 came out, I was like, that was stupid. Like, I should be more open. Like, maybe some podcasts will be like cooler, you know, and like and maybe like I can just tell the publicist to sort of, I don't want to do anything that's really like that tone, you know.
Right.
So the first one I did, like it was like that, and I was like, fuck, I just like my body just froze up, and I didn't want to do it. I was just like, I don't think I can even do publicity for this, because it was really hard making it, because it's such a dark place to be. And then there's something about, I've talked about this actually with other true crime filmmakers, like how you can sort of like get through the film because there's deadlines and stuff, and then when you start the publicity stuff and start talking about it, and there's like all the deadlines are passed, you suddenly realize what you did, and you sort of like have a second freak out where you are just like, oh my God, and you get really depressed.
So is it like a PTSD type
I don't know.
situation?
I wouldn't say that, because like, you know, I film people that actually have that.
Right.
So I don't want to say that I had it, but there was definitely something where I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, unless this is more controlled, and they realize I'm the filmmaker and not the detective. Like, I didn't make this to solve the crime. I made this to explore something. And if I thought I could solve the crime, that would be kind of, well, I think he wants to go to Casa de Luz.
Yeah.
Or the Shade.
Who doesn't want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know, we could go into Casa de Luz if you want to. Walk down that breezy hallway.
Yeah,
And
that would be great. I love it there. I almost said
did you
we
film
there.
Claire
We
back here?
did,
I thought, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
do you know Claire?
I do know her
How
from
do you know Claire?
from film school.
No
At
way.
UT. And
No
I
way.
watched episode 5 last night, and my wife and I come here a lot, and we were like,
I love
hey,
it
they're
here.
at
The coffee place here is so good.
Yeah. I'm curious though about this idea of
That's so crazy.
Going-
I went to school with Claire.
yeah, I've known her for a long time.
She's really great.
She's great. And it was interesting to see her in the movie, because I don't remember her working on that project.
Yeah.
But it's such an interesting meditation on being able to handle something as a documentary filmmaker, where she is very open about like,
Yeah.
I couldn't handle this at the time. Like, this is a
Yeah.
bigger story than I was prepared
Well, I mean,
to tell.
I felt like that's not fair, because I had like 100 people helping me, and HBO and A24
Right.
and Emma Stone and Dave McCary, but she had herself and
Right.
her partner. So it's not
Right.
fair, like, to expect. And she was like a recent film student. So I was like,
Yeah.
girl, that shouldn't make you hang up your hat as a filmmaker. Like, that's just not even
Yeah.
fair, you know?
Well, and I think with film students, when I taught for a couple years, that was one of the things I would often say to people is like, if you have like a really heavy subject, wait, because it's sort of like trying to learn something on the guitar that's like way too complicated early on. You know what I mean? Like, you're just
Before you can
Totally
read.
right.
you're not
Yeah.
supposed to know how to do that
No.
yet. You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think she's such an empath. And I mean, honestly, like, whenever I had a problem, I would go talk to Claire and be like, she'll help me figure it out, because because she'd been through it already. So I would be like, well, she'll know what to do, you know, because she's already encountered this. She's probably felt the exact same thing. She knows all the characters. She knows the world.
Right.
And she's smarter than me, so it'll be helpful.
Let's jump in real quick and so share with our audience who's maybe catching up, right? So Yogurt Shop Murders was initially a 4-part series that became a 5-part series on HBO. It's been airing this year through the spring, and then ended and then picked back up.
3 weeks later, it got solved after it came out.
Well, which was so interesting, because you just said, I'm a documentarian, I'm a filmmaker, I'm not here to solve the case.
Right.
But
But the
you
case
did
I didn't
help solve the case.
Well,
Your interest in it kind of,
it did give it a jump start, but I definitely did not solve. I don't know anything about DNA and bullet casing.
okay, fair.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about this after watching the 5th episode last night, and I was like, it's almost like you flipped on a porch light
Yeah,
by making the
I think
film.
films do that.
And then people were attracted
flies
to
of
the
the
light
no, for
came
sure.
in,
I
and all of
know,
a sudden there
films
was a
do
lot
that.
of energy around it,
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
a
what
really. I'll start using that.
Yeah.
porch light analogy.
Flipped on the porch light.
You
Yeah,
flipped on
I
the
did
porch
flip
light.
on the porch
So
light.
the project flips on the porch light. You're focused on it, but what's incredible and what's revealed in the first episode is that you're not the first to try and tell this story. Of
Right.
course, it's a major story. The Yogurt Shop Murders, if you're not familiar, is like a horrific and tragic, long unsolved murder of 4 young women in a yogurt shop in North Austin in 1991. And I moved to Austin in 94, and those billboards were still very
Yeah,
much a big
yeah.
part of the conversation
Yeah.
around here. You know, do you know who killed these girls was
Yeah.
a question that was in the air. And there was a lot, obviously a million ups and downs, but we were talking about this woman, Claire, who was a UT film student who had basically made a first run at trying to make a documentary. When was she doing that?
She was doing that in the mid to late 2000s when the 4 boys who were teenagers were accused, and she had an in with the defense team. And so she was going at it kind of from that angle, like how do people get accused who are probably innocent? As you see in the 5th episode, she wasn't even totally sure because, you know, which is a cloud that hung over them basically their whole lives.
Sure,
For
of course.
over 20 years. And because they weren't accused till years later, but still, I mean, it was, I think it was, I can't remember. That's bad that I can't remember, but I can't remember.
That's
I
okay.
blocked it out
Yeah.
in the 2000s.
So when Margaret enters this project, there is a trove
99.
of material. There's a trove of interviews and verite
Yes.
that has been completed by another filmmaker.
Yes.
It's an incomplete
Yes.
record, and it's a confused record, and
Yeah.
and admittedly,
250 hours of footage, and it was yes.
Claire did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
she's
didn't
like
realize she set them up.
Oh no, I mean and also she was just available to me. Like if I needed to talk to her, because she was just like this constant sounding board of, and she's such an empath, and she's so smart. So she sort of thought about everything I was thinking of. So whenever I had like a question, I would be like, can we just go interview Claire again?
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So she's a massive part of it. And actually we're doing this screening at AFS.
Yeah.
And she's going to come for the 5th episode.
Cool.
Because I think she was like my secret weapon, and not so secret. I mean, she's all throughout the whole thing.
Well, that's interesting because
Yeah.
I guess as a storyteller, to have somebody that can almost work as
Yes.
the super glue
Yes.
to like tie
Yeah.
pieces together
Yeah.
is so valuable.
It was
right? And to-
incredible.
yeah.
It definitely is one of the things that made the series special, because I had this sort of meta narrative that I could always return to. And, you know, not everyone was into it in the beginning. They were like, some of my producers were like, you know, didn't like that as a meta narrative, but I just was like, I didn't know either. You know, when you're making these things, you don't always know.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me just keep trying to see if it works.
You've got to explore it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
We all anytime you're telling a story from the past, it is a little bit, even though you say you're not out to solve the crime,
Right.
you put on a detective hat in one way or another, and you're digging
Yeah,
up.
for sure. You're digging through stuff for sure.
And so we all need people that have insight, that have expertise, that have like opinions or questions
Yeah.
before you got there. But to have that person be a filmmaker,
Yes.
and have that person have kind of reached the end of the line
All
without.
sorts of feelings about
Yeah.
it too.
Right. Should we dip in here to the shade and just call it a seat, or you want to go for a walk?
You
Whatever
tell
you
us,
guys
how's
want.
Max Pickle
I
doing?
think like
You got to recharge?
I think he needs some water.
Okay, then let's go in here.
Yeah.
This is a really beautiful courtyard.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
You know,
This is also very like, if you were saying like what's something from the yogurt shop, and like we did shoot here, so it does tie in.
well, there you go.
I have so many
Claire.
process questions for you after watching episode 5 last
Yeah.
night, because I'm
Come on, Pickle.
always thinking about how to film a scene authentically, or at least organically, where obviously you want to get part of the story that you're there to get, but
Right.
not make it feel very set up. And I feel like the yogurt shop and particularly episode 5 is like a sort of masterclass in doing that. And the one scene that I really remember clearly where I felt that way was when, forgive me, I can't remember their names, but the mother and daughter go into the Innocence Project,
Oh yeah,
and they sit in the office and they're talking to the executive director,
yeah, Mike. Yep,
and then they just start explaining
I know.
how it is
But they were ready to tell that story.
affected their lives.
Yeah.
But you get it in a scene that is supposed to be a meeting between the two of them that becomes this like confessional, vulnerable, amazing moment. But it's shot almost like with narrative coverage. That's like wide shots and close-ups, and So I just remember thinking, like, how, as a director, would Margaret have, like, constructed that?
Well, with my team, I mean, I work with Justin Zweifach, who just got an Emmy nomination for Yogurt Shock.
Congrats. That's the DP.
Yeah. And we talk about it a lot beforehand, like, and also Chris LaMarca, who also got an Emmy nod for shooting, but Justin was the main DP. And, so, yeah, we talked about that scene in advance and how we wanted it to feel. But, you know, the wild card is always like, these families, how are they going to show up? I mean, just from having made this, like, I know that people usually show up and they're holding it together and then they kind of collapse, and you have to figure out, like, you know, just how to sit with them through that. You can't control it, but you have to be with them, and the whole crew is with them. And it's sort of like, I don't know, it's just an exercise in being really present and hoping you also can film.
Right.
Because it's like, I definitely think this was the kind of thing where I felt really sensitive to their pain, and always like being open to like being with them in the moment. I mean, this is going to sound like not, I don't know what it's going to sound like, it's just the truth, but like you sort of figure out like, well, I'm going to just show up for these people. Because you know, when I first started filming, I wasn't really aware of like what I was getting into, because I was touring with my previous feature, and I sort of took the job because Pam Colloff said, this is the craziest story ever, and you should do it. And she also said, I don't think you can do it in less than 10 episodes. And I took that as a dare, because I knew we only had 4. And I was like, well, Pam says it's really hard, I'm going to do it. Like, literally, that was my thought process. And then I saw the footage, and it was so crazy. It was the footage was like nuts, and like Twin Peaks, and I've always wanted to, like, I love David. He's my favorite. So I was like, oh, this is, and then I met the families, and then I was like, oh fuck, I have to throw it all out the window. This is so much pain. I have to not even rethink it, just like be in it in a different way. And that was kind of, and that was just like, that's really just like, literally, that's the answer to every question you're probably going to ask me. Is just like, you have to be like, open and present, and sometimes that's like the hardest thing to do ever. That's it. We can stop talking now.
Okay, well, that's been
Next
this
time.
episode.
On Doc
He's really some water.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's one of the most sensitive portrayals of. I want to use the phrase overcoming loss, but the reality is it's not about overcoming loss.
Can't
It's about
overcome loss.
living with loss, and it's about reframing loss as life goes on. And it's super sensitive. It's heavy. The story is dark. You add certain flourishes to lighten where you can. I have to say, like, one of my favorite things is the lighting choice to include color in those dark interviews. Can you talk about that? And for the audience who maybe hasn't seen it, would you explain what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, Justin and I were talking a lot about Twin Peaks and color theory and how color influences mood. But then, like, we like kind of looked at color theory, but then we were like, we didn't even, I don't know how scientific it is, but we were like, this interview feels green, like neon green, like it feels like it should be. And so we would just sort of be like, we think we're going to use, because we didn't want it to feel naturalistic. We wanted it, because like there was this choice, because I think when I first started, I wanted it to be like really over the top, like Drive or something, just like really like leaning into the kind of Twin Peaks of it all and the kind of surreal nature of the footage that existed. But then when I met the families, I was like, that would be so weird to take away from the honesty of these moments with like all this crazy lighting. So I had to figure out like how to, what's the like appropriate use of this to sort of give it a feel, but not like be too distracting. So it was always like balancing that. And you're the first person that's asked me about that. So only thank you for noticing.
I love it. And you know, and the first time I noticed it in the first episode was there's the police officer who lives kind of, at least the way the vibe of the interview is. This is me projecting my experience of watching this moment.
Being a police officer.
So I could be wrong. No, he's like, what I was gonna say is like, he's kind of like in a bachelor pad kind of vibe, because there's like neon beer signs on the wall. And yet the throw.
Yeah, he got divorced after he got too much PTSD from the yogurt shop murders, and now he's single.
And like any single man in his 60s, he's got old school beer signs on the wall. And I was watching the interview, and I was like, that neon is really giving a lot of throw to this interview, and I was like,
I don't know.
exactly. And I was like, I'm thinking through this, and it's like, I was like, this is a choice. And then the next interview, the light, the color, and it is like a color theory feeling, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, these colors mean something. There has been a conscious decision. This isn't like show up and let it live.
Right.
And I have such respect and love for that, because the reality is, like, in Ben's, we started out our conversation, like, how do you kind of capture an authentic and organic experience? And you know, my favorite thing, you know, Frederick Wiseman always, you know, is the first to kind of make it really clear, no matter how authentic and organic it is still 100% fake.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in an interview setting, where you're literally like, sit here, look here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my voice out, so answer your question this way if you do that. Or don't look into the camera, even though the camera's looking at you. All the things we set up to make it real.
Yeah.
And so, like, to just acknowledge in a subtle way.
Yeah.
And I think it really served. I wasn't jumping to Twin Peaks on my own, but hearing you say that, I feel like, you nailed that. And that Nicholas Winding Refn Drive kind of aesthetic. Nice choice. That's all I want to say. It's a nice choice.
Thanks.
Do you guys want to? What do you want to do?
I want him to have a little bit of water, but he seems to like want to get his cards done. Want a reading? I already know.
Well, maybe we can
you know
go
what?
down to the trail and just see, because this is a shady.
shady part of the trail. And if not, then we come back.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
If we come back, let's just grab tables and
Yeah,
not
that
just
sounds
stand
good.
there.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
No, it's just.
Yeah.
This
I
is,
know the.
we
This
keep it
is-
organic and authentic.
This
in
is
way.
how the show rolls. This is great. So I wanted to follow up on something that you said, though, about how this film was like uniquely intense.
Yeah.
I was thinking about your other movies, right? Like starting with Towns.
Yeah.
And then going to Order of Myths.
Yeah.
Well, and like what I mean is, like, Towns was a.
It wasn't like a.
He's not a happy
Be Here to
guy.
Love Me is what he started with.
Come on.
Be Here to Love Me, the Towns Van Zandt documentary.
He was a horrible alcoholic
Yes.
who left a trail of broken hearts behind
Yes,
him.
he did.
Your next film, Order of Myths, was about the racism that existed in your hometown,
Yep.
which is not exactly a.
There was
Super
parts of
well
that were
good.
funny too, though.
And as it's manifested through teenagers going to prom, which is
No, it was debutantes.
debutantes.
Post teens.
Ah.
Just slightly though. You're onto something.
Thank you.
And then we have not Descendants, the.
Descendants.
The Descendants.
Yeah.
No, but
called-
remind me of the one in between.
Oh, The Great Invisible.
Great Invisible. Thank you.
Yeah.
About an oil spill. Where I'm going is, you
Yeah.
often make films about places that have really heavy topics.
Yeah.
So while Yogurt Shop seems uniquely intense,
Yeah.
it's also in
Whoa.
line with your body of work.
Sort of. I mean, I think that like, there was something that was different about it, and I think it's just like, there's something about like when something has happened. It's not recent because it was now 35 years ago, and also when it's unresolved, and also when it's rape and murder. I don't know. There was something about it that was different, and I guess also because it was naive, like I didn't really know what I was signing up for. I was thinking about it from like a craft perspective rather than an emotional toll on me and my entire crew.
Right.
And also, of course, what the people went through who were part of this world.
Yeah.
So I think that like, if I had gone into it in a smarter way, maybe I wouldn't have been blindsided is the word that comes to mind by like how it was unique. I mean, but every film is
You felt
uniquely-
blindsided?
just by how emotionally difficult it was. I mean, I feel really, it wasn't just me, it was like everyone who worked on it. Like A24 had to get the crew therapy. And, you know, I'd never worked on a film before where the studio got the crew therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like there are a lot of times when the crew needs therapy that like that's an unacknowledged need.
Absolutely.
But this was the first one where they actually did it.
Yeah.
You know?
One of the moments I was really struck by last night was the woman, and again, forgive me, I don't remember her name, but she says, I'm just realizing this is the last interview I'll
Barbara.
have to do.
Yeah.
And you people who do this
Yeah,
are
but you
so
related to that.
strange. And I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
being like, oh, wow,
I
that's
am
so
strange.
interesting to like hear that reflected
I know.
from somebody who, like you were
Yeah.
saying, is like sitting in a seat that's lit, that's being told
Yeah.
not to look at the camera. Like for her
Yeah.
to say like, this is kind of weird what you guys are doing. Yeah.
But she's like a Zen master also. Like she's an incredible person. And I think what I came to realize making the show is that like, if you deal with this level of grief, it changes you and it sometimes transforms you in, I dare I say, positive ways, because she has so much empathy for people and I admire her so much. And I feel like I don't want to say that you should go through having your 2 daughters like raped and murdered.
Doc walks.
Oh my God, you guys are celebrities.
That's so much better than penis.
I mean, put them together. What do you got?
Also, like you had like a motorcycle. What is even happening right now?
This is what we love about
It's the porch light.
taking it to the road.
You turn the cameras on and things happen.
You guys
Well, you
are
know-
fans, man.
This is the only time that you want to be out in the world with a camera and rolling,
Yeah.
where you don't mind the world interacting with you. Like
Right.
we invite it.
Yeah.
What's nice is that he kept running. Doc walks. I do have some comments on the format I'd like to share. Margaret, you were talking earlier about the idea of having. I'm going to jump to the left here.
I know.
Sorry,
Oh my
sorry.
God, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
It did happen at Sundance in the perfect place.
What's that?
When somebody recognized us from the show.
What
Oh, yeah.
happened?
We were at the Impact Partners Party, of all places, talking to, I
amazing.
can't remember what her name was, but one of the Impact Partners producers,
Yep.
Were we talking to Geraldine or Jenny?
Jenny, I think it was.
Yeah.
And literally
love
somebody
Jenny.
walked up and went, oh, Dog Walks guys. And we were like,
She's
really?
like, I've been following you.
Oh my God.
It was
That's so
yes.
good.
It's it doesn't take much to like stroke a documentarian's ego.
Totally.
Oh, you exist. We recognize that you exist.
You guys should have like themed coffee cups that like that the person carries that you're interviewing, like Charlie Rose but moving.
Ooh,
Then that should be the only comparison to Charlie Rose.
I know.
like Charlie Rose, but moving.
And not canceled.
That's right. And with the robes, the robes are fully secured. Oh. Margaret, you were talking earlier about that feeling of when you're creating something trauma-based, something that's so heavy like this, but you've got almost like the armor and the girding of deadlines, you're behind a camera, there's a separation.
Yeah.
But then the film comes
Wow.
out, or the show comes out.
There's no separation when you're with that kind of, there is, like you can go home and you don't have to deal with it in the same way, but I think that's why, because of like the way that like uniquely, my DP, Justin, he works, like he is such an empath and he feels all of it. Like he usually stays with me when we're filming and like we would just come home and we would order food, like the crew would go out to dinner and we would just order food and stare at the wall. Like, it was just like, how do you
Decompress.
like you didn't even talk to each other and we're like really good friends, but we just sit there.
But then this thing happens when you release, right?
Yeah.
And it's different on TV than it is in festival world, but I know you got to do a little bit of both with this one. And I'm curious if you had this experience. I feel confident that you have. I've certainly had this experience where you put something like this out into the world and now people come to you and they share their traumas.
Yes.
That you flip that porch light on and they say, my sister wasn't raped and murdered, but I had a car accident, or
Right.
but my father just died of cancer.
Right.
Have you had those experiences on this?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people have come to me with like something horrible. I actually talked to Pam about it because that happens to her too with the kind of work that she does. This is new to me, this specifically, like, can you solve what happened to my sister, child, friend?
Yeah.
And I'm like, these stories are horrible, but I didn't solve it, the detective did, and he's getting that too. Like he now goes to all these like, conventions that are about like DNA and stuff. And he says he told me something like he can't go, he gets bothered in the bathroom at the urinal with a lawyer being like, can you go over my case with me?
Wow.
He's like a celebrity now in that world because it's like he solved this, This is not the shade.
No, it's
This is
not.
not
But here's
the
what do we do this?
We're veering off in a weird direction.
We can
here.
loop back on that little trail here
Right.
and then
That's
Yeah.
good.
You've mentioned Pam Colloff a couple times, and obviously
You worked with her, yeah.
I work with her, and I owe you a huge debt of gratitude.
You do?
I do, and I'm excited about talking to you about this for over a year, because we've been wanting to talk to you for over a year since the pilot. We watched the pilot of
Right.
Yogurt Shop Murders at South by 2 years ago.
Right. Well, I'm glad we waited because I had to they had to solve it, and
It gives us more to focus
Yeah.
on. But so Pam Colloff, who, fingers crossed, will be a guest in September on Dock Walks.
amazing.
She is going through like a massive
No, I
whirlwind of
know.
her
It's
own,
so great.
literally right now.
Yeah. I wish I could be like a deadhead and follow her.
All right.
I actually am going to go to St. Louis to.
Side.
Oh no, that's not. Look for the quacks.
She just posted about her
She's on the
as
bestseller
David.
list.
Well, she's
David Gran,
with
I
David
know.
Gran, who's
Yeah.
like one of my heroes. I love that
I'm
guy.
a super fan of Pam now, apparently.
I know, that's amazing.
So I am a super fan of Pam. I think we
Amazing.
all are, right?
Yeah.
But for those out there who don't know, run to your bookstore and pick
Yes.
up Catch the Devil.
Yep.
That's Pam's brand new book. It's her first
Book.
ever book.
Yep.
But what she has before this book is 30 years of experience as one of the greatest long form journalists in magazine and editorial that our country has known.
Yep.
Before she was doing that, she was college roommates
Yep.
with
No,
Margaret.
No, she wasn't.
Is that a lie that I've been told many times?
We weren't roommates, but we were like best friends after college.
Post college buddies.
Yes.
But you guys moved together to Austin,
yes.
in
Yeah.
like in 94, 95?
95.
And why Austin?
Because we knew a lot of people here and we had sofas to sleep on.
There you go.
We went to Emo's and we were like, we know a lot of people, like we can stay. Yeah.
That was it? That was
Yep.
the extent of
we,
it?
we literally walked into Emo's at like 1 a.m. after being on the road, and we knew like everyone in the club, and our friends were playing in the band, and we were like, we're moving here.
Wow.
And then we went to Alabama, and she worked at Matchmaker International, and I bartended, and we made enough money to like move back.
And this is, where did you go to college?
Brown.
Okay, so you graduate Brown,
Yep.
you moved to Austin,
Yep.
you moved back to Alabama where you're
Just-
from.
Yeah, yep. With Pam, who like is from the Upper West Side, so that was
Funny.
Yeah.
So how did
Yeah.
you guys meet at Brown?
We met at
Okay,
Brown,
Right.
yep.
And so then you come to Austin. How do you
Yep.
know everybody in Austin?
from Brown. Like there were people here that had come here because we were traveling around the country and we were like, we want to move somewhere, Gen X, like we want to move somewhere cool, but
Where
like
we can retire.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's just what we were thinking. Yeah. And no, we were thinking like, where is it fun? Where is it cheap? Because we would always go to Quack's and get the 99-cent like beans and cornbread special on the drag. Like that was like, where can we eat for $1 a night where we don't have to cook,
This is so old Austin.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting about that is we were again watching episode 5 last night, and my wife, when you interview the social worker with the ponytail,
Oh my God.
who is
yeah.
so thoughtful and
She's amazing.
tells the
Also, I did not do
amazing.
that interview. That's like her one interview that I didn't do.
Wow.
Well,
is that
actually,
right?
Well, that was like a day when that was when Descendant, I was on tour with Descendant, and
Sorry, we are.
let's get up.
Well,
And-
hang on. I want to hold on this for a second because this long-haired, ponytailed gentleman is standing out in front
he's a
of
social worker.
where used to be the yogurt shop.
Yep.
And he
I think Beth
has this-
Garabrandt did that interview, who's one of the producers.
Well, he has this like really deep, reflective moment on camera
Yes.
where he talks about how he was part of the cleanup
Yes,
crew,
yes.
and that unlike most of the times with a job like that, he insisted that there was no music,
I
no
know,
laughing,
yeah.
and that they'd be very serious about the work because
Yes.
it demanded that.
Yes.
And
Come on, Pickle.
then he walks away. And
Yep.
after delivering this just
I know.
incredibly empathetic,
We were
heavy,
trying to get that into the show for like Mike would be like, he'd stick it somewhere, it wouldn't work. And so we were so happy when we could get an episode.
To get an
5.
extra episode, yeah.
When he walks off, my wife turns to me and she goes, "That is so old Austin."
I know,
Like he's like
I
the
know,
epitome
I
of
know.
what that is.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to describe it. Like
Yeah.
how would you describe what
I don't
you
know if
mean?
you can. I think that like that's something that film does that can't be put into words.
That's a great answer. I'm going to use that answer for every question from there on.
Yeah, it's a good out. It's
Yeah, totally.
This is going to be a very short
also
podcast.
True,
then.
though. It's also true. That's why it's in a movie and not like a book.
When I got a tattoo when I was finishing high school on my arm here, very old 20th century tattoo. And the day that I got that tattoo, there was somebody in the tattoo parlor, And her friend was like, why are you getting that tattoo
What is it?
on your arm? What is that
You
exactly?
have to show us.
And she said, I'll show. She said, if I could put it into words, I wouldn't have to have it poked into my skin.
Whoa.
Wow.
And
Hostile.
That's hostile.
okay, so Pam Colloff and Margaret moved to Austin in the 90s.
Yeah.
Pam, of course, stayed and has made a massive name for herself for many years with Texas Monthly,
She worked for Texas, I think Highway Patrol magazine though first.
Texas Highways.
Yeah.
And then, but
No,
Texas.
I think it's Texas Highway Patrol magazine.
all right,
I
I'll
kind of
fact check.
remember because I think I was living with her then here in Austin, and
Funny. Highway
had-
Patrol.
yeah, I think you should look in her bio because that's in it now, and people are always like, "Wait a minute, that's a magazine." But I'm pretty sure I'm right. You should check it though. You should ask her. That should be your first question.
That'll be literally the first question.
Yeah, Margaret said.
But I want to get to the debt of gratitude that I owe you. I feel like I've been working for this.
Sorry.
That's okay. I got a chance to know Pam when she worked at Texas Monthly because my wife Sarah is a photographer, and
Amazing
Sarah,
photographer.
thank you, an amazing photographer, and she and Pam had worked together. As a matter of fact, Pam did a story on Blind Prom at the Texas School for the Blind. Kind of as an offshoot of the film that Sarah and myself and Patrick
Right.
Floyd were making at the time.
Right.
And so we got to know Pam a little bit.
Right.
And Pam is the writer of 96 Minutes, the incredible, over-the-top oral history that explains the 1966 UT Tower shooting, which went on to be the basis and foundation for the film that I made.
Right.
But there would be no tower without you, Margaret Brown.
Why is that?
We went to lunch together at Bolden Creek circa 2012.
No way.
Pam's article came out in 2006. I was making my first documentary at the time and had no ability to take on a second idea. I was deep underwater on like just trying to figure out how to make a first film.
Yeah,
but I felt
for
so
sure.
close to the idea that
Right.
Pam had laid out. And
Yeah.
I had a vision for it in animation that I knew was a reach and an expensive idea.
Yeah.
And I didn't have there was no reason anybody should believe or want to support that. And for 6 years, from 2006 to 2012, I talked myself into and out of making that film. And I needed a little help to make the decision. And you and I went out to lunch at Bolden Creek, and I kind of laid out the idea for the film, and you were so over the top excited
Yeah.
about supporting that idea, and said that you would put in a call to
was
Pam if I
right.
needed it.
Sweet.
You just really gave me that push, and it was the push I needed
Wow.
to make the decision.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so, we talk about community on this
Yeah,
podcast all the
yeah.
time, right?
Right.
And like that's what you get out of community is like
Absolutely.
support.
Yes.
Who has been that for you in your career, especially in the early part of your career? A lot of
early
this
part.
Yeah.
In the early part, it was like, I mean, honestly, it was a lot was Pam, a lot was friends that, I mean, it was kind of, God, I mean, a lot of a lot of the times on my first films, I always dated my cinematographer.
Smart
that
move.
was-
I do that too.
Yeah, I know you do. And that it's helpful, because like you always have like someone to talk to it about. I don't do that anymore. But like I think that was part of it. Like I think that, I dated Lee Daniel when I made my first movie, and he was a lot older than me, and I think he kind of taught me how to be a filmmaker, And he taught me how to be patient. He like, not that Lee is like, I don't know, but he definitely knew how to be patient with the camera in a way that like I think I was always like so nervous, and he would be like, no, wait for the thing to happen in front of you. And my mom always remembers that. She was like, he was a terrible boyfriend, but like he definitely like taught you how to be an artist,
That's so incredible. Lee Daniel, of course, is the well known for being the cinematographer of both Slacker and Dazed and Confused, and just like a quintessential foundational member of the Austin film community in the 80s and 90s and beyond.
Yeah. My mother, to be clear, didn't say he was a terrible boyfriend. I think that was me. But my mother always liked him.
All right. So we were talking about who your influences were.
Influences? Or?
Yeah, you mentioned Lee Daniel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like also like working with Diane Weyermann.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you work with Diane?
I met her just briefly, and then I got brought in after she passed.
Yeah.
So Diane was the principal at Participant,
Yeah.
co-founder of Participant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when Courtney came in after Diane died, she and I picked up one of Diane's pet projects that never got finished.
Oh, wow.
And we spent almost 2 years developing them until the day that Participant ended. I was in a full-on deal with them.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's been a lot of that last year. Them and A24 have been
Oh my God.
So, but anyway, back to Diane.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was someone that really like believed in me, and I loved working with her. And she was someone who really like came on during. I met Courtney on The Order of Myths, and they did not come on for that, but that was sort of I met her, and then like for my next film, I started working with them, and then I did my next 2 films with them, and I loved working with them. They were great, And she really was just like someone. An executive who was a filmmaker, and I don't know. She was kind of my mentor, I feel.
When she passed, that was like a big impact to this industry.
Oh
like
my
there were
God.
ripple effects that
Everybody, or a lot of people.
Yeah.
You.
Well,
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of came in after that. And then when Participant ended, talk about another like ripple.
I know.
Let's just pivot to that for a second, because
Yeah.
like this industry feels like it's in.
It's a weird moment, but I feel like, I mean, not to be like that's not Goldilocks, but I just feel like good things happen in weird moments. So I'm not too, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we'll see if we're all working next year, but I tend to think that like that's when creativity happens, when things aren't as flush.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, you think about something like punk rock, like coming out like, at the end of the 70s when there was like a huge recession and people were feeling very desperate. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like hoping for it. I mean, I liked it when documentary was like the budgets were bigger, but that's not where we are right today. But I think like, it's sort of, you have constraints and you have to work with that. I say that until I'm unemployed.
Right. Right. It's really exciting until there's no work. Yeah. How do you start a project? Like, are you at a point now in your career where people are bringing you things? And you pretty much have like some development financing in place?
No, I mean, I think that like it's like, I don't know how you guys are, but for me, it's like a kind of a combination between ideas that I generate or things that someone brings to me, and then I kind of change what I think it is, and they either go along with it or don't. So it's sort of just a combination of things. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that, it's just every project is different, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
I mean, I'm in a phase right now where I'm developing a new project that I wrote a pitch for, basically, and then it got accepted through like an invite-only RFP, and then we're sort of figuring out like
What's an RFP?
the next request for proposal.
Oh, okay.
So I get people sending me things like that.
Yeah.
But then, a previous project that didn't get off the ground was all passion project, asking my friends to work for the bare amount that they will, which always feels strange, especially because, what I try to do is pay people their rates. We all do, of course. But like, because I do commercials, also I can usually balance it out.
But that's almost like a weirder position, I think. And not not judging, but like commenting on your experience, right?
Yeah.
Because you hire people
At top rates.
at
for
top
commercials,
rates, then when you ask them to kind of do a favor, on the one hand, some people kind of owe you a portion of their livelihood. On the other hand, like, it's not easy for them to say no, right? Like, right, because of that, right? Do you feel conflicted about that at all?
I never do. I feel like it's, and maybe this is being naive, but like, I sort of feel like it's understood. It's like we're all in it for the right reason, and we're all making cool things with our friends.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into doing this. And so my relationship to it is like, come along on this adventure with me. If I can't get you this time for your full rate, I'll get you on the next one, but we're still going to have a good time.
It's their choice if they're going to do it or not. Like, you're not like,
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that's right. And, I think that because I sort of split my time, I think that I haven't made as many documentaries as I was hoping that I was going to early in my career.
Yeah.
So
Do you
that's
enjoy the
something-
commercial stuff?
I do. Yeah, it is like a unique, fun challenge, and it's like a way to practice as a director.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that about it. And I get to go have these like wild experiences that I would never have otherwise.
I think that's why I love film.
There's like I don't understand the commercial world very well, and I never have, but every once in a while I'll go to Ben's website and just see the work that you guys are doing, and then I get jealous because it's like, oh right, you popped into the space for 2 days, 3 days, whatever, you thought about it for a couple weeks, posted it for a couple weeks, and then moved on to something else. And so even though you haven't knocked out as many titles, you know, on the feature side, you've dipped into so many communities, and you've got a chance to play with so many different creative approaches and gear.
I love
and
that too.
For me, it's a little different than either of you, because like I think I'm the only of the three of us that operates with a camera in my hand most times. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't think you were still doing that.
Well, I have a project that I can't really talk about, or two that I am shooting on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I would say that's for me, is like when I get started, it's like I almost always partner with another high level, like kind of creative producer, but I've got a small team that I work with, and then the camera's in my hand, the edits literally set up, you know, in the house next to the house I live in. We kind of live that together, and then we develop for, you know, anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half, and then take it out to the world. I have found that isn't working as well as it used to, like taking out like fully developed projects, and I'm starting to realize like I think I'm overdoing it on development, and I should start introducing projects at a much earlier phase.
It does feel like a funny time for that. Like the idea of like making a project and taking it to a festival and selling it for a profit it feels like that's not necessarily on the table. Really, it still happens, but it doesn't really feel like that's the industry model anymore.
I mean, there is no model. Like, what even is it? Like, I don't even. What has it ever been? I don't know. I feel like.
When you said it's a weird moment, that was my first reaction. Is like, when has it not been a weird moment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, you both of you guys kind of came out with your first films in the micro generation before me, like about 4 or 5 years before my first film. And
the micro generation.
I just made that up.
Yeah,
What is that? I was like, wait, what?
Well, because I was thinking about it in terms of like, you know, actually, I say that, I'm lying. Ben and I, my first film came out the same festival as.
I was 2009.
Me too.
2005.
5 for Towns.
Yeah. Right. So that's the micro generation I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
It's like,
Remember that we almost worked together on Towns?
Of course I remember. But we did. You helped me with a lot of it. And didn't you work on the music video I did? Like on.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Real River.
Yeah,
and we shot, you know what's funny? I live in the neighborhood right by that motel where we shot.
Oh my God, that motel is so creepy.
It's so creepy. And it's still there. Can you believe it? Nobody, it feels like the kind of thing that like Bunkhouse is going to buy an update any day now, but it's still that sort of like.
I remember like there were some gross things we found under the bed. It was just like, there was like a knife. It was like, it was.
You know what's
gross.
funny though? I was thinking about this before our walk, is that so Bradley knew you.
Yeah.
I was living with Bradley.
Yeah.
I was working with him. I was shooting and editing,
He lived
doing
here still?
sound. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then we met, and I helped Bradley film a Devendra Banhart interview for Towns at your house.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you were like, come help me edit Towns. And I started to, and then you were like, let's keep going. And I got hired to do a commercial.
I remember.
And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I got to go do this commercial.
Yeah.
And then you went and made Towns, and I was like,
Crazy.
I should have stayed on.
cut you off at the knees. Just like, never again.
No, but it was awesome. We were,
I remember that office.
yes, your post-production office, which is above.
Downtown.
Yeah, what was that
It was
bar? It was like
haunted.
Shots or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was haunted. Like Karen's class was like, I can't work any late at night there anymore. There's always like, and we found out that like it was a place where like all these prostitutes had worked and some had been killed. Yes, or she told me that. I don't know. Maybe she just didn't want to work late, but I don't think so. I think she was
Were you at Hotel
genuinely
Vegas? Where were you?
freaked out. The cops would sometimes like want to come upstairs and like watch the homeless people, and we were like, "You're not spying on homeless people from
Our production office.
I was like, "What is happening?"
That is so Austin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I met you for the very first time, glancingly, at Billy Bishop's screen printing shop, because he was printing "Be Here to Love Me" posters.
Shout out Billy Bishop.
Yes.
Wow.
And
That's about to get re-released. The Oscilloscope is re-releasing it.
Hell yeah.
We're working on it right now.
Awesome. I love that. I love that film so much. It's really beautiful. And you captured Austin in such an interesting way from that time. And then I feel like Yogurt Shop like you kind of captured the 70s Austin, and then you sort of captured the 90s Austin.
Yeah.
And then, but it's also a meditation on like
Maybe next will be 2010. I hope not.
in 20-year increments. But I feel like you captured 2025 Austin really interestingly too, because it's a lot of like high rise.
That was very purposeful. Yeah.
the change in the town is palpable in that work. Back to "Be Here to Love Me." What is a music doc that was in your back pocket when you were making that film, or a music doc that you love that spoke to you then, speaks to you now?
God, I don't even know. don't know. I don't think I was thinking of it that way. I like, honestly, I was more in this world of like, my dad's a country songwriter, and and I was like, do I, as a young artist, I mean, that was basically my NYU grad student film. I mean, that was how I graduated NYU. And it's like this idea of, do I have to live like that to be an artist, was the question I had. Also, like, as a woman. And I think that was the animating question. It wasn't really about the music. I mean, it was about the music because I was obsessed with his music. But it was also just about, like, life choices. And do I have to go down this dark path to do what I want to do? And do I have to live this kind of itinerant lifestyle to really... I think it was also just, like... I mean, it's very, like, sort of gender-coded, too, because I think I was, like, really afraid of, like, not having a career as a woman, you know? And I think that... Which was something that was not... I think it was more in my head than it was in my... That was, like, real, but I think it dictated a lot of life decisions, like running away from things, because I was like, oh, my God, what if I don't get to be an artist?
Right. Well, how would you answer that question now?
I think I'd get to be an artist and like, but I think I overcorrected at the time. I think I was like I mean, I ran away from so many relationships because I was in ones that were, you know, that were just about being an artist and not about like, it was fear-based, you know, because I really, really wanted to live this artistic life, you know.
I deeply understand and relate to what you're saying.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Tell me.
all the early,
Tell me.
well, all the early artists I was attracted to were so self-destructive.
Yeah.
You know, like the Jack Kerouac, Hunter S. Thompson,
That's why I made the
Bukowski,
That's why I made the movie. That's literally why I made it.
And I thought that that's what you had to do. That like being a creative person
Yeah.
that meant sort of like hurting yourself and then coming
others,
back
everyone around
and
you.
telling the
Yeah.
story of it.
Yeah.
And then it was sort of like the imprint of that
It's a very male
craziness
idea too.
was the art.
Yeah.
And I now have 2 kids and a loving partner and a very stable life that
You
it
can still
isn't
be
that
creative. It's just like
100%.
Yeah.
But it's a different relationship
It's-
to it.
It's totally different. And the trade-offs, and this is something I know
I
that
have really
you
strong feelings about it now.
well, I want to dive deeper into it because I mentioned earlier I'm working on this film about Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah.
And a big part of the story that we're uncovering is really this relationship of the individual to their art.
Yeah.
I mean, that man made 84 films and TV programs while directing 170 plays and 34 radio plays. But he had 9 children by 5 wives over the course of a life. And it's like, how do you squeeze all that stuff in while also deeply making artful statements and impacting people? And it's like, well, the way you do it is by stepping on a lot of humanity and a lot of personal relationships and giving up like a lot of the human experience in favor of art.
Yeah.
And like Ben was saying, it was the challenge I had as a young man, wanting to live a creative life and looking at Vincent van Gogh and thinking like, do I work in obscurity and cut my ear off and hope people remember my name? Or do I try and live a balanced life where I take care of myself and I take care of the relationships in my life? And I mean, we're still figuring it out all the time. For me, it's like when I met my wife, Sarah.
But she's a creative too.
Well, and that's the thing is she was the first person who I ever spent time with who was comfortable calling herself an artist who wasn't just entirely fucked up. And at that age, you know.
How old were you?
I was 27, she was 25 when we met. We've been together 23 years.
Wow.
And I never called myself an artist until a couple years into being in a relationship with her. To me, I was just was a creative person.
Wow.
Like that was like the spot. You could be
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
But the art was like a whole different world.
Yeah.
And what I've come to realize is like, no, art is for everybody.
Yeah.
Creativity is for everybody and art is for everybody. But navigating that artful life and a career and really making a statement as a director, right? As somebody like leading a team and leading a vision. I mean, that's really fraught. What have you learned about it?
I mean, I think I changed what I think about it like all the time. And my former partner was in a band with Nick Cave, and you know, he's had this crazy life of, I think we change over the course of life, you know, and I think I'm still answering that question for myself. Like, I think I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's a constant question of like, what are the choices I'm making? How much am I putting my work first, and how much am I putting relationships first? Like, how much of this is a response to like my relationships with my own parents and the choices they made, like looking at that, like Buck and I were talking about that last night about like our first memories and like how he was saying like he just showed up like ready to go deep, and I was like, whoa, I just wanted a cocktail, man. Like it was just like, he's so funny sometimes, but he was just like, I remember this thing with my dad or when Pele, and I was just like, he was just like ready to go in, like almost missed the movie because it was just like talking about like how do we get to the age we are now and still have all these questions, you know?
Yeah.
And this
As
is Buck
creative
Allen,
people.
Terry Allen's son, who's a very interesting person to hear that from, because Terry Allen is a renowned artist who's very self-reflective.
And his mom, too, Joe Harvey.
Yeah.
They're all in a band together.
Is there a through line in your work? I think, Fellini famously said all art is autobiography.
Well, of course.
Okay. What do you recognize the through line in your work? Do you see yourself in each?
But I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you curious to discover that, or do you feel like
think about it?
Okay.
What about you guys?
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, what about you, Ben?
I think that
Is that an Aura ring or a wedding ring?
it's an Aura ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a wedding ring.
Okay,
too.
okay.
I think that you can tell something that I made, or at least I hope, and I think that it's about the tone and the energy and the relationships involved in making the thing, and that's what comes across on the screen as unique to me.
Yeah. Definitely the relationships in your work, I think, like about like what you pick, like who you focus on and how you talk to them. Like you're often like in your stuff, like in a really present way. And not everyone.
I don't know
does
why
that.
that would be.
No, but that's a choice as a documentary filmmaker, and you don't do that as much. You're like very,
Yeah, I like to be behind the camera, but I will say, like, I've kind of been drawn more in over time. And part of it is, like, I used to work so hard to not be in.
Why?
Because I wanted to create initially, I wanted to create an experience for an audience where they weren't asking questions and about the questions I ask when I watch movies. Like, I see the seams in other people's films, and I break apart, and I imagine the production media and the pitch and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to be thinking about that when they think about my work.
Right.
But as I've gotten more comfortable and as I've made more work, I realize, like, there's no point in pretending I'm not here.
Yeah.
I stand by, like, the stuff you're seeing. If you see my movie, I want you to see it.
Yeah.
So if I have to, like, walk across frame to set something and that's the best moment, I'm not going to cut around that the way I used to insist on it.
Yeah. I'm the same, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of creeping into my movies in a way that, like, I was like you, and now I'm like, my thing that I can't talk about that I'm working on now, I'm like in the first shot, like holding a monitor.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thinking about Bukowski and early influences brought this memory where I remember very clearly being like 15 or 16 and writing in a journal, if I don't tell people how cool I think something is, they won't know.
Oh.
Wow.
Whoa.
And like that being a sort of animating force for me. And that's not something I walk around thinking about, but that was like,
What does that mean? If you won't tell, they won't know, like they won't understand?
Like if I love something dearly, I
Yeah.
really think it's beautiful and cool and exciting and inspiring, unless I tell people that they won't know. That feeling won't be transmitted. I'll be the only one with that feeling. And
That's beautiful.
and I remember like being a teenager being like, that is why I want to tell stories. And it's not that I make it sound like that was very clear. It wasn't. I wrote that down, but it wasn't like
It's stuck.
It stuck, and it was a driver for me for sure, and it still is.
It's interesting because, like, so much of, like, art and creation is an expression of ego, right? And like I have this like push-pull all the time, both internally with myself and with the artists that I take in, of like how much they're giving into their ego versus how much like an expression like that is it pure or is it indulgent, right? And as a 15, 16-year-old who's writing that, like, that is pure, right? Because everything at that age is pure. I'll let Margaret call you indulgent. I just teed it up.
Maybe that's a perfect episode title for this. So Indulgent, with Margaret Brown.
Better than
Penis.
yeah, I was gonna say better than Margaret. We could talk to you forever, but we can't because Janet is on her way to your house.
We should stop.
And so we're gonna ask
I don't
you.
want her to get mad at me.
That's right. Well, we don't want that.
No, she'll get mad at y'all.
She sure will.
Yeah.
And she has been and will
It
be
won't be
again.
the first time.
But we're also going to
Janet,
ask
are you
you.
listening? We know.
We are going to ask you if you had any fun whatsoever on this, to put in a good word with
Yeah.
Janet, because we have been trying to get Janet to
Yeah.
be on the podcast.
Yeah.
That will be amazing.
I
Yeah.
know. We hopefully, knock on wood,
She-
someday that'll happen.
Oh my God.
Janet Pearson, we're talking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the other day I was with her on Sunday and I was like something like, you know, you should come over, we should take my dog for a walk, and she was like, I don't like dogs. And everything I said, she like didn't like it. And I was just like, this is so peak Janet. Like
I've been having a similar conversation with
Yeah.
John about,
Yeah.
he'll write me about baseball and we'll
Yeah.
go back and forth, and I'll be like, hey, come let's do a dog walk. And he's like, I can't stand to hear people talk about movies. And I'm like, okay then.
we should get both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we can handle it.
I know. That's really tough.
We did Julie Goldman and Chris Clements, and that was really,
They were
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
they were great.
Yeah.
But that's the only married couple we've had, although.
Yeah.
It's 11:45.
Okay, we got to get
gotta
going.
go.
Here, we have 3 lightning round questions, and then we'll let you go. Why don't we do them on the walk?
Great. Okay, we're back on the move.
Thank you,
And
Casa de Luz.
Thank you, Casa de Luz. And at the end of the episodes, we like to ask our guests 3 questions typically.
Okay.
So the first one is, what advice would you have for someone starting out now making their first film?
I would say have a shtick, like a dachshund. I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
I was excited to see where you're going to build that out. Have a shtick. We hadn't gotten that one yet.
Have a
Most people
YouTube
just like to say,
channel.
just do it.
Have a YouTube channel.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
That is actually,
Don't have a YouTube channel.
well, that is an interesting
Pickle
answer.
and do one or the other.
Oh, really? Interesting. So like the
Either
sort of
go-
social media
go full in,
influencer.
go- make a strong decision. I think definitely make a strong decision, whether it's like ignore all social media or like do it, just go for it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would say.
Okay.
And if you were
cool.
that emerging filmmaker today, where do you think what would be different about where you'd start today versus where you started?
But right now I'm taking an improv class.
Are you really?
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
At the Hideout?
No, at Cold Town.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
I was just at the Hideout yesterday. My son just finished a week of improv camp.
Really? How did he like it?
He loved it, and they just
Yeah.
did like their kind of recital. I did improv in the 90s in Dallas, like in high school. It was one of my weird high school shticks. We started out talking about high school, and here we are at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a little improv in high school.
Wow.
But being there yesterday made me want to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was so
I
fun.
highly recommend.
It was so fun.
Well, don't
Very
you feel
good for
like
directing.
I was gonna say, like being documentary directors or even any kind of directors, like
Yeah.
learning how to yes and
Yeah.
suggestions is key.
Yeah, yeah. And I also think like improv is about deep listening, and that's kind of what we do is deeply listen. So I think that that's been great to learn how to deeply listen and be funny or try or think you're funny.
Right.
I don't know if I'm actually.
Well, and at least be bold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be willing.
yeah.
Okay, I love that. Let me jump in. What was the gateway drug, film, and it can be fiction or nonfiction? What was the doc or the movie that said
Mwah.
everywhere you go?
I mean, you guys are famous.
Everywhere we go, Keith.
Yeah. Who's that?
Her name is Layla, and she plays on the baseball team with me.
Oh wow.
And she is one of the most brightest lights.
She
out
looks
there.
like a bright light. She looks like someone who goes like, "What the fuck, guys? You guys are, what's
All right, it's amazing what $50 can get you in this town, guys. That was
Penis!
produced in advance. The setup.
this is incredible."
What was the gateway drug movie that opened your eyes, that was a bright light for you, that said, I want to do this, I can do this, I need to figure this out?
I think it was Cassavetes' Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that like, this is gonna sound kind of arrogant because like who could make that movie? It's so amazing. But I think like there was a heat wave in New York. I was living with Pam like when we were 20 in the summer, and we didn't have air conditioning, and so we went to the midnight movie at the Angelica, and they showed Shadows. That was just what was on, and because we couldn't sleep because it was too hot, and I was like, holy fuck, like maybe I could be a filmmaker. Like, I mean, this is like, even though it's genius, it's like there's something approachable about it. And I think that was sort of my gateway drug film.
I love it. What
great
a
answer.
great answer. We haven't heard Cassavetes yet.
Kind of surprised. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Well, and he did have such a like community theater
Yes,
where
yes.
I'm going to make stuff with my
Yes,
friends
yes,
and have a
yes,
good time
yes.
doing it
Yeah,
at Porch.
exactly. It felt approachable. It felt like,
Yeah.
even though it was so good, I was so moved, but I also felt like, well, I have friends.
Right, we have fun.
Yeah,
we
I
could
can
film that.
have fun.
I mean, he also had this incredible duality, right? That I think
Yeah.
we're all trying to navigate, which is like one for them, one for me, right? Like he was in straightforward Hollywood movies as an actor
Yeah,
and was married to an actress,
yeah.
was of that world, but then the
Yeah.
world he created was so different than that world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Well,
that-
is it?
Well,
I mean, I think there's overlap. I think like that world, it's like his films were like the behind the scenes of that world, or like I don't know. I think they're connected.
yeah.
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 Definitely.
Final question. You've worked with so many great people and you've told so many great stories. If you had to choose a dream collaborator, living or dead?
I don't know.
No.
I can't answer that.
Refuses.
Well, I just feel like I like to see how things unfold. Like I like to be open to whatever's unfolding, and I don't want to. That feels like that would shut it down.
Okay.
It's a jinx.
We were talking about jinxing.
Yeah, I
That
don't
could be the
wanna-
jinx.
No jinx.
No jinxes.
I love it.
All right, Margaret, is there anything we didn't talk about that you want to talk about?
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Is it always this fun?
It's always this loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. I would say it is often more fun than it has to be.
It has to be.
Well, it's true. Like we're here to talk about like
Serious stuff.
some kind of egg-headed thing sometimes,
Yeah.
and but the reality is like, and
Why
this
did
is what
you
this.
start doing it.
That's exactly what I was about to say. The reason we started doing it is because Ben and I have both, and you've been there a million times, been at a film festival when you've got like an hour and a half to kill between screenings,
Yeah.
and the only person to hang out with is some filmmaker
Yeah.
that you just met, but you
Yeah.
immediately connect
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, and you're like, oh God, I wish I'd. Yeah.
Or some filmmaker you've known for as long as we've known you, but you
Yeah.
don't get to see except
Yeah.
in that setting.
Wow, that's cool.
And so that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
And also, I think for me too, I like the idea of teaching and
Yeah.
like. I wanted to make the thing that I wish existed in my 20s. Yeah, I know I was getting in the shade right here.
This has been wonderful. Okay, the 5th episode of Yogurt Shop Murders is up now on HBO.
Yeah.
If you watched this series this spring, this is the surprise ending that you wish you had then. Here it is.
Yeah.
And if you haven't caught it, this is a great opportunity to stay in from the heat. And
And it's playing at AFS September 3rd.
Yep.
Yep. And it's on HBO now.
Margaret has two.
August 27th, 29th, and the 3rd.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Margaret has two other projects that she's not going to tell you shit about.
That's right.
So stay tuned sometime over the next year or two, hopefully.
Thank you for doing this, Margaret.
Thank you,
welcome. It's
Margaret.
fun.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah.
Max Pickle signing off.
Next time on Doc Walks, Keith is in beautiful Carmel, California, where he walks solo with Chris Metzler. Chris is an Emmy-nominated American documentary filmmaker and producer. He's known for his films Plagues and Pleasures on the Salton Sea, and also Everyday Sunshine, The Story of Fishbone, among many others. And he's also the director of programming for SF Doc Fest and SF Indie Fest. So this is a great episode. It's beautiful. They get into lots of interesting subjects, and I'm very envious that I was not there for this one. So please stick around next time on Doc Walks.
Doc Walks is created, produced, and edited by my friend Ben Steinbauer of The Bear.
Hello. And my friend Keith Maitland of Go Valley.
With help from our co-producer Dayton Thompson and editing by Riley Church. Follow us at Doc Walks Pod on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn.